It's beef bourguignon, and today we'll show you how to make this restaurant classic at home in the traditional French style. We start with the aromatics. We have the usual suspects: carrots, roughly chopped, onion, the same, and a few cloves of fresh garlic. For the herbs, we have bay leaves and sprig of both thyme and rosemary. For a hit of warmth, we had cloves, juniper berries, some black peppercorns, and later a cinnamon stick. And that's our cast for the marinade. But now it's time to talk meat. We're using a cut, known in France as paleron. What is it? Nothing more than your beloved chuck. Precisely, the top blade. It has long muscle fibers, it's rich in fat and collagen. The three things this dish relies on. You can see the central strip of connective tissue running through the cut. Right here. That's exactly what we want. It slowly melts and gives the sauce its body. We want big chunks, 4 cm 2 inches. That will ensure we'll still have nice meaty bites at the end of the slow cook. And the beef goes into our marinade container. Our aromatics go in. And now for the wine. We're using a full bottle of pinot noir, a classic French red wine, and we've selected one from the region of Bourgogne. Clean, structured, enough tannins and acidity to work through our meat without overpowering it. A taste for our chef. But we do need the rest for the marinade and eventually our sauce. A little mix, a few pinches of salt, and that cinnamon stick we mentioned earlier. And now we let thyme do the work. Let the beef marinate for at least 2 hours. Overnight is ideal. And take a look at this. Look at the beautiful color. Burgundy color. Once marinated, we separate the meat from the liquid. We do the same thing for the veggies, letting them drip dry, and here we go. All our pods separated and patted dry. This matters. Moisture is the enemy of a proper sear. We're using clarified butter, high smoke point, nutty flavor, steak's best friend. The beef goes into a hot carbon steel pan, large and shallow. No crowding. We sear the meat in batches. And I don't know about you, but to me, watching a beef sear is mesmerizing. There's just something primeval about it. Deep, even, controlled. We want the greatest color out of this searing. My la parfait! This is a great foundation for our stew. Once done, it's the veggies' turn. We want to caramelize this as well. high heat. An extra dollop of butter helps the process. What a smell we have in this kitchen! It's time for the wine. To deglaze the pan, yes, but also because we want to burn off some alcohol before assembling everything in the stew pot. Be sure to scrape off all these beef drippings, pure gold, and everything goes into the Dutch oven. Dutch ovens like this stove are a great choice for retaining heat for a slow cook. We're adding our herbs back in for the long haul. Once the beef is out, we give the pan a quick wipe to toast the flour. It's a French trick for adding a little toasted flavor to our thickener. We just sprinkle it and it's time to head to the oven. We can't stress enough the value of having a meat thermometer with an oven probe for recipes like this. They are very economical and take the guesswork out of under or overcooking the meat. The stew is on, but we want to serve this beef bourguignon with the classic condiments: sauté button mushrooms, perfectly cooked lardon, and evenly glazed little onions. Mushrooms first. Never soak mushrooms, it will ruin the texture. Instead, wipe or brush off any dirt. We're just going to quarter all this. Next, lardon, the pancetta, the bacon. We want thick pieces like this. Now, we have talked a lot about how to properly cook pancetta on this channel. The usual rule is low and slow until the fat is translucent, then raise the heat to crisp. Here, however, we follow a French trick. We boil the pieces until the fat is translucent. Blanch them in cold water. A quick pat dry. Save the water, we need it for the onions. And then crisp in the pan. Another advantage to this trick is boiling removes some of the excess salt, letting us salt to our taste. Once golden, pull the meat. The texture was perfect, inside and out. What do you think? Is this way of cooking bacon insane or insanely awesome? Tell us in the comments. Mushrooms next. High heat. Butter. A hit of black pepper. See this color? That's what we're looking for. A pinch of salt, and we set them aside for later. And while we're at it, a pinch of salt for the pancetta too. Like I said, boiling removes some of the saltiness, letting us decide what level we want. And now the onions, and a few whole shallots. A pinch of salt, sugar, and that pancetta water to cover up the onions. Butter. Sometimes people use pearl onions for this dish. Whatever you do, don't use onions marinated in vinegar. They are gross. Let's just be frank here. We cover with a simple parchment paper lid with a vent in the middle. That's our cartouche. The onions steam. The butter penetrates inside them. We remove the parchment paper to thicken the sauce at the end. Some black pepper will just make this perfect. And then finally, the sugar glazes them. Gently moving the pot to let the glaze evenly coat our onions. When finished, the onions are glossy, tender, and more importantly, intact. Sweet without collapsing. So tasty. Much better than the pearl onions marinated in vinegar. Bah! Our condiments are ready. Look at this. This meat is falling apart. We carefully remove the chunks of beef so that we can take care of the sauce. All that's left is to remove the bay leaves, the sprigs of herbs, cinnamon stick, and the carrots, which we will leave in chunks. After this strain, we have all our pots. Time to build our fine feast. Reduce the gravy, if needed, until it coats the back of a spoon. At this point, you can either return the meat to the gravy or combine them on the plate, as we're doing today. We start with a bed of rich gravy. Lay on those chunks of beef, and what would be a stew without bites of carrots? Can you taste that crispy lardon? Those glossy onions? And more gravy. And we finish with a sprinkle of fresh parsley or chives. And there you have it. Take a look at this. The fork slides in, no resistance. Really shreds of pure bliss. Fork tender beef and a gravy to die for. The depth of flavor is insane. And served with a glass of pinot noir on the side. This is beef bourguignon, built, not rushed, and worth every hour it takes. If you enjoyed this video, support the channel by liking and hyping, and if you haven't already, subscribe to Piatto Recipes and click the bell for new video notifications. And don't forget to tell us in the comments how you make your favorite slow-cooked beef.